Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. In today's video, I finally got my kind of power to record a review of The Mysteries of Mary tarot deck by Hetien Grobler. I have received this deck for a review, just for disclosure, but if you follow me on Instagram, which I would love you to, so you can, I will link my Instagram feed below and you can subscribe. You know that I have been on Mary's initiation since I probably did the Venus Retro Challenge. And when I started going back with my memories in my life in general, I somehow went on many Mary's pilgrimages. I visited many of the sanctuaries, and for many years, I have kind of made or looked for my way back to Mary, as it seems right now, even though it's still pretty new to me and it's not connected so much with Catholicism or Christianity. I'm not religious in this regards. And that's when I found Hetien and her deck, because she comes as a devotee to Mary, but and she describes Mary that Mary is beyond religion, and that really interested me. And I checked her deck and checked the book and checked the work that she's done with the archetype of Mary, and how she kind of proves in this deck and in this beautiful book that she wrote, how Mary is, carrying the lineage of the great mother, of the goddess, and how we need that also for the sacred marriage to take place, when we have the sacred masculine and sacred feminine. And I think personally that, until female and male really aspects of our psyche really get integrated within ourselves, our world probably will look as it looks today, which is obviously not ideal. So let's just start with this deck. It took me ages to get to, make this review, because it's a very unusual and very gorgeous deck, but also it's very personal, so it's a little bit hard a review to do. But I have separated the deck into the majors and into suits. So I'm just going to put the aces here. And let me just tell you briefly, what Hetien writes about the deck. And this is more about the technical side, so that you know what I'm talking about. So the cards, first of all, arrived packaged amazingly. Like, she does such a brilliant job. She is an artist, and Hetien is from South Africa. She's in Cape Town, I think. And the deck has these other bags. She makes everything herself. So I don't have the whole thing, the deck arrived like a month or a few months ago, but you get like the handmade bag that Hetien makes herself. I think everyone gets a different, image here. She sends you quite a few. I don't even have here everything, but she sends a few of different, blessings and little cards and holy pictures. She sends a rosary, sometimes a Mary statue, and I have gotten this the dancing sun, the chariot card, which she also signs and says what number of the deck is it from the edition that she sent me. And I have to say something about the paper of the cards. She writes on her blog that this is these cards are printed on 350 GMS cardstock, and the book has 160 pages, and there is info on each card and its themes and the background. And it's packaged in handcrafted tarot pouch and accompanied by a signed card from the deck and a rosary. So this is a very unique deck of cards. And here also a disclosure that probably if you see Mary from a very traditional Catholic, let's say, or even Orthodox Church point of view, you probably won't be gelling with this deck. This Mary deck is for people who see religion, first of all, from the more mystical path, from the more alchemical path, and not necessarily see the Bible or the Gospels in the literal way how often religions try to interpret them. So I think if you're a traditional Christian or traditional Catholic, I mean, you might love it as well, you know. There's nothing obviously against people who are traditionalists in using this deck, but I think you probably wouldn't be into tarot or you would be annoyed what maybe Hetien did with Mary. To me, that's what drew me to this deck, because I'm not into a traditional religion, and I definitely can see how Mary carries, yes, I said, the lineage of the goddess, and how much inner work also, and blessings, and pain and suffering, and amazing initiations I'm going through while working with this deck. So it's quite as I said, personal experience, so it's not so easy to do a review of this deck. And I think you know, the deck itself, it's kind of focusing on the hieros gamos of the sacred marriage, you know, and on it's kind of like a mystical vision of the sacred mysteries of the soul and its unsung feminine path. This is from Hetien's blog. She also says that this is like a sacred marriage, you know, of the bride and the beloved. Bride and the beloved, so the Christ and the Christ's mother or goddess in this case. She brings in the book a lot of different threads, a lot of lost information, a lot of hidden information that was specifically, you know, cut out from the Bibles or differently interpreted. And here I don't want to go into this, you know, philosophical discussion, who is right, who is wrong. You can really believe whatever you want. And I totally respect it. For me, what she's done here, it's really amazing. It's not like New Age that she just threw some cut out information from without any research. There is a lot of research done here, and Mary goes beyond religion, and she is the Sophia, she is the Magna Mater, you know, the great goddess. So yeah, this deck is very, very unique. It comes with this book, and you get a very interesting introduction where she really kind of, it's not like very long, but it goes enough in depth so you can see where she's coming from, what she connects, how she sees Mary. And so the tarot, as per tarot, looks totally different. So we totally way off any system here that we know, like Rider-Waite-Smith, or it's kind of, you know, very loosely based on Rider-Waite-Smith in the tarot build-up. But the names are changed, the suits are changed. So we have vessels for cups, and they are the suit of compassion. And there is roots, holy roots, they are wands, and this is a suit of beauty. We have a suit of distaff. These are swords, and this is a suit of peace. And we have a suit of roses, which is pentacles, and it's like you know, holy embodiment and sacred embodiment and divine incarnation, also like cosmic Mary. You know, we know that there's sisterhood of the rose, and rose is a sacred plant connected to Mary. It also speaks about our soul as a garden. So this journey of the major arcana starts with Mara. This is our full card, and I'm just going to show you, like, you know, I'm not going to read obviously about all of the cards, but each card in the major and minor arcana represents an arcanum of wisdom in the mysteries. So each one represents an archetypal experience, an initiation, and a possible alchemical transformation in the psyche and the soul. And to be honest, this deck is really deep, so I keep using it quite sparingly. You know, I don't throw like big spreads with this deck. I like to use it as a 1-card, 2-card spread. Sometimes when I have specific question, I pull a card to each question, let's say. So Hetien writes also, in the sacred life, our daily living is the sacrament, and our suffering is breaking of the bread on the sacrificial table of existence. Through our conscious living, we make all of life sacred. And she actually created for each of the cards a shrine. It's a 3D deck, and then the shrines got photographed, you know, and you can see all of the 78 cards. They all have a original shrine that Hetien created by herself. I actually have done a beautiful interview with Hetien. You're very welcome to listen to it to get a feel of where she's coming from. I will link this interview below in the description box, or you can search for it in the playlist Inspired Tarot Map, and this is an interview with Hetien Grobler. So each card is an individual shrine, and you know, it's a great mystery. So as she writes, like, nobody can really prove anything. She's not claiming that she's got it right and this is the only way. Absolutely not. It's a deck of exploration. It's a deck of for contemplation, for meditation. And when you do that, these shrines, you know, they come to life. You feel drawn in, you feel like they work their magic in your life, but the work is up to you. As I always mention and really speak about, nobody will do this work for you or for anybody in that sense. So Mara starts the journey. It's traditionally the Fool. And in this deck, at the end of the long description, Hetien says that Mara tells you that you have been initiated into the first or the next stage of your journey. And she reminds you that when faced with challenges and difficulties, you are to remember that you are carrying the answer or the healing balm with you. And one could say that the secret language is encoded in your triple-stranded DNA. You are also reminded that you are not alone on this journey and that you are to pay attention to the signposts on the way. She mixes here also, you know, the fairy tales. She mixes, she gives little quotations from different books. And also at the end of this book, you get but bibliography, which you can, you know, take a look what books she read to write this book, and sometimes you really can find some cool gems there. So let's just, without further ado, take a look at this major arcana. So this is Maria Prophetessa. It's the Magician. Mary Sophia is the High Priestess. Is it? Maria Natura is the Empress. So gorgeous. Good Father for the Emperor. This is beautiful. Hierophant of the Mysteries. So as you can see, you might be going, so this is Tree of Choice for the lovers. It's very untypical. It's I can read tarot. Trust me, I can read tarot based on the, you know, number only. Because even the Dancing Sun for the Chariot, you know, I wouldn't know that this is the Chariot. So it doesn't matter if you know tarot or not. This is a deck that you definitely would be working with the guidebook. But also, as I said, it's a contemplative deck. So you can get information from these shrines through meditation and contemplation. But this book helps a lot to orient yourself. So once, you know, I've got this deck for a few months now, not even, maybe like around 2 months. but I've been away for 2 weeks, so I haven't been working with it. And, you know, I haven't even pulled all the cards yet. So I'm making my way through this deck, and I'm really enjoying taking this journey as a process, as a initiation. And through Walking with Mary, which Etienne organized recently, like a few months ago, also on Instagram, I highly recommend it. So next year when she's doing it, I'm definitely going to join in again. But, you know, this work is kind of moving me forward. I'm progressing with it. And as I said, this deck, maybe, you know, the artwork might be not for everybody. It's quite, you know, this deck doesn't pretend that it works with kitsch as well. It's a lot of plastic figurines, and, you know, it can be quite busy. But that's what I love about it, because it's so unassuming and in a way doesn't pretend to be anything else that it is. And this beautiful Black Madonna as devil. Yeah, the goddess. Hidden. The Magdalene for the tower, because Magdala means tower. Gorgeous Stella Maris as the star. So yeah, so as I said, this deck, maybe, you know, if I was to choose my favorite artwork, maybe it wouldn't be it, maybe it would. I actually love it, but, you know, usually I don't like very busy decks, and these images sometimes get quite busy. But this deck just, I think the heart that Etienne put into each of these shrines, it's just, you know, it's just, you get the sense of it. So even if I don't understand all the images straight away, and I'm learning as I go, I so appreciate it. And this deck with the book gives me such amazing readings at times that I get, like, you know, tears in my eyes. I do meditate with it a lot. As I said, I don't pull too many cards. I pull like a card a day or a card a week. Sometimes depends how well I understand what it's trying to, you know, teach me, and then I come back to them. But it's beautiful, and there is something about it. This deck is one of my most favorite decks when it comes to shuffling. It just has this, I don't know if it will be visible, it's not so smooth, totally smooth, like, you know, like a regular, like a photo or something. It's not that smooth. It has a little bit of texture, especially in the back, and the sound it makes, the feel in your hand, just the size of the cards. You can easily go this way as well, even though for some reason I really prefer to go lengthwise. Ah, it's just so good. This is the best shuffling deck. So then we go through the suits, and she describes all the suits in the book, you know. I'm not going to like go through all of this, but she writes, for example, that in this deck, she correlates to the themes of the 4 suits as 4 attributes of Mary. So compassion, peace, beauty, and wisdom. So the 4 suits reflect the cycles and aspects of Mary as follows. So the suit of vessels reflects Mary's life as virgin, maiden mother, and priestess of the soul. So here we have Ace of Cups. And I'm just going to go through it like so that you can just see. And again, it's kind of vaguely Rider-Waite-Smith, as like, you know, tarot eyes when you read the book and what the cards kind of are teaching you. But it's, yeah, you wouldn't recognize anything. So it's basically a highly innovative deck. And then when we come to the court cards, the servant is like a page, handmaiden is a knight, and then the king and the queen is the last one. So this was the suit of vessels. And then we have the suit of Holyrood, and this reflects Mary as bride of the beloved and the mystery of the bride chamber. And it's, you know, it's a beautiful kind of inspiration, this like opening your heart, like, you know, going through this burning fire. It represents fire, it represents, here's the 3 Marys. So Holyrood as a, you know, Four of Wands, that's kind of, you know, that marriage. But yeah, it's a totally different experience with tarot. I love this Holyrood at Eight of Wands as the handless maiden, and that's about quickening of your initiation. That's like really like you go through like some tough initiation, but that quickens your spiritual understanding, or can quicken it. 10, and then we go through Servant page, Handmaiden, King, and the Queen. And then we have the Holy Distaff, and here the suit of the staff depicts the veils of Mary, as well as the Mary behind the veils of existence. So this is also the suit of peace, and this suit follows the history of weaving, knitting, embroidery, sewing as part of the sacred story of Mary, women, and the world. It is the element of air, and its initiation is the Dormition of Mary. So here we have our swords. So we have the red thread, Three of Swords. So you can see a little bit, you know, this kind of Rider-Waite-Smith connotation, especially when it comes to when you see the Eight of that's 7, right? But Eight of the Staff, 9, 10, and then we have again the Servant, Handmaiden, King, and Queen. And then the last one is the Roses, the suit of Roses, and this is the kind of highest suit. It's based on, and she writes here, on Cosmic Mary, on, let me just focus this here. It's based on Cosmic Mary, or Mary as a Queen of Heaven and Earth, principle of divine incarnation and sacred embodiment, and follows the story through the path of Venus and the mystical rose, and the Earth as sacred being. It's traditionally suit of Pentacles, element Earth, and its initiation is the Cosmic Rose and the cycle of the Wise Woman. So Pentacles, it's a beautiful one, I really like it. Just because it has a lot of pinkish stuff, and yeah, it's quite interesting and beautiful. Teresa. And then we have Servant, Bernadette, Handmaiden of Roses, King of Roses, and there's this embodiment, you know, using the body also as the sacred temple. So she kind of comes up with this deck as you know, it's a religion of the soul. So she loves Mary. She devoted the whole, you know, her artistic work to Mary. She's working now on the Black Madonna tarot deck, which I'm thinking, oh, I hope it's going to be finished soon, but I think it will take years. From what Hetien is saying, it's quite, you know, big piece of work. But this deck, you can get from Hetien if you want to. You can. I will link all the info below. She wrote quite a few beautiful blogs. She does this Walking with Mary. So you can take a look at her work. That will really help to figure out for yourself if this is something for you or not, because I can really understand that this is not for everybody. But if you're into goddess, sacred feminine, I think this is an important piece, because Mary, especially in Western religion, you know, Western cultures, is present. Like in my country, she's present every day, all the time, through Catholic Church, and I could never kind of reconcile how I see her and how I can work with her and not be in the church till, you know, I kind of really started reading into it, and now whatever happened, it just opened this whole well of information that is present, and we live in times when we can access it and then use our brains and use our hearts and, follow this information. And sometimes my mind doesn't know where I'm going, but I'm following it. I feel like I'm being gently directed by Mary, and sometimes it's not so gentle. Sometimes it's really painful. But what I wanted to tell you also, that this deck, I worked with some other tarot decks, and I love the Golden Tarot because of this kind of also, Christian themes. There's angels, there is Mary, and there is this kind of feel of reverence also, and this beautiful artwork, So this was great for me to work with alongside with, this Mary deck. So for example, I could pull one archetype that, let's say I ask Mary, what should I explore next or something like this, and I pull one card from the Mary deck, no more than one, and then I pull, for example, a few cards from the Golden Tarot. I love working with the Goddess Tarot, Dark Goddess Tarot as well. It's an amazing deck. This is to me a Mary deck, all of them, This is Mary lineage. So this is really beautiful. There is Mary card in there as well. It's a Black Madonna. I think she is the Empress, actually. Another deck that it's really beautiful is actually these two oracles from Alana Fairchild. In Rumi Oracle, there's a lot of connotations with Mary and Mariam and, all this priestesshood, and also Mother Mary Oracle, very beautiful two oracle decks that go very well with Mary work. This Work Your Light Oracle by Rebecca Campbell also goes pretty well with working with this stuff. Any of the oracle decks actually with like Goddess Oracle decks. So I've got the, Triple Goddess Tarot, which is actually more like an oracle a little bit. This is the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia and the Red Seeds Oracle by Linda Hill. Amazing decks to, deepen your connection. That funky deck by, like my friend says, Saints and Sinners. Sorry, but it's a Saints and Mystics, of course. But, doesn't matter what you think of the artwork. I just got this amazing connection through this deck to Maya Deren and found out about her work, and it was just quite a merry day. And of course, the amazing Weaver's Oracle. You can watch, my reviews on most of these decks in the playlist, Tarot Deck Reviews. But that's also Mary's lineage as I see it. So I think that's it. Let me know what you think about it. Please be respectful. I do, as Hetien was also saying in the interview, she was also, quite... maybe not scared, but fearful anxious how this is going to be taken, that she's got the Mary connected to tarot and tarot in general, how it's viewed, and Mary is such an icon for so many people, and there's so many opinions about Mary. But yeah, she has her own, and I seem to be agreeing with her opinion a lot. Okay, so this was the Mysteries of Mary Tarot deck. Thank you for watching. I'm curious about your comments, so please let me know what you think, and please watch the interview with Hetien if you are interested in this deck, because you can see who is behind this beautiful idea and execution, and how powerful this deck can be just because she put her heart into it, and I think was led by Mary herself. So thanks again, and I speak to you soon. Bye!